Oh, dwarf. Fucking hobbit. Alright, let me know when you get ready. Damn, I'm still getting ready. Alright, that's that. Alright, so we good. And y'all got y'all lit lives running and shit?
Yeah.
I'm recording, so I'll get yours. I'm gonna get your live.
I'm gonna put mine on my Facebook.
So we going on at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Supreme Alliance Radio Show on FirstFamRadio.com.
Hey guys, you're now tuned in to Supreme Alliance Radio on First Fam Radio. It's your girl Desiree Tsunami. Just couldn't be here today, but I got a co-host with me, Billy the Kid.
Yep, what's up?
And I have special guest Malik Ali.
Thank you. How y'all doing? It's Malik Ali, just for the record.
Sorry. I'm nervous, y'all. This is my first show.
That's
without
this
Jess.
mine's too.
Supreme Alliance Radio Show on
Alright, so Malik, you're an author of a book, Philosophy of a Thug. Tell me a little bit more about that.
It's kind of psychology of a thug. I wrote the book mainly because I needed to figure out the psychology of myself, basically, why I keep going back in jail. You know, I do good and didn't do bad. You know, with some mental problems, and I'm like advocating for mental health in our communities because a lot of us got PTSD and don't know it. So, really, I wrote the book for myself, but also I wrote it to help some other people too.
Nice. Now is the book self-published?
Yes, ma'am. It's self-published on Amazon.com. I did everything myself. I don't have a publisher right now, but one want to come along right now, that's cool. But I did all the work myself with the help from a couple of other people.
That's awesome. So what was your thought process when writing the book?
I kind of always wanted to write one, but I don't think I was ready then. Like, you know, I just said you can't, write a testimony if you don't have a test. I was too young to write it, but I learned a lot since then. And it just, when I started writing, it just started flowing. So it's like I was meant to do this. You know.
So also in your book, you talk about being incarcerated for over 10 years. Why is it important to write a book about things like this?
It's kind of like the world needs to know why thugs keep going back and forth to prison. You know, white people especially, but all people, even black people, because they need to understand the psychology of the thugs in their neighborhood. That way they can better, help us with the programs and services that we need.
And then I see in the book, and I was reading the headlines about it, it talked about you being molested by your own mother in the book. Was it hard for you to write about that?
Yeah, it was, because I actually started reliving the feelings of that event. And not the first time I wrote it, when I rewrote it, because I wrote it in prison. I just came home November the 2nd, and when I rewrote it, I started recognizing the feelings, And I talk about it a little more in my book, but one of the things I didn't talk about that I recently felt, the feeling of not caring if I lived or died after my mother passed away. So, there's a lot of feelings you have. Even though that happened, I still love my mother because it's my mother.
Right.
So.
Was it, you said that you wrote the book while you were incarcerated. Where was your mind when you were writing that? Could you concentrate writing it? I can't imagine.
Actually, most of the time I wrote it late night when everybody went to bed.
Okay.
I used to jump out of my bunk. I know I was driving my bunk to crazy because I was on that. Don't just get a thought and let it fly. 'Cause you know how we get these thoughts and we don't write them down and we forget them and we never get a chance. So I was getting up 2 or 3 in the morning writing the book now. Yeah, I actually, what motivated me to write the book was a therapist in South Woods. When I told her my passion was to help young brothers, help them and mentor them. She said that's a good idea, but help yourself first, which was a good idea. We can't help nobody unless we help ourselves. So I went back to my room and I was wondering, I was like saying to myself, how can I help myself and help them? And it hit me like a light bulb, write a book. So they call it bibliotherapy. It's like the therapy of reading and writing books to help yourself. And I got a chapter in the book called Self-Help Analysis. I go in and not only do I talk about the traumas, I give a solution to the traumas. That's why I say that the world needs this book, because I'm not just writing about a thug, I am a thug, so I'm writing about myself.
Right. So when you writing, like, what made you qualified to write the book?
Well, I didn't. I actually only went to the 8th grade in school.
Okay.
But I went back and got my GED in 1985 when I was 20 years old. I read a lot of psychology books in and out of prison, and that's like my favorite subject is psychology. And also what makes me qualified is I am the book.
Okay.
So I'm writing about myself. So it was kind of easy for me. I'm really studying myself, and I studied other people that I was around.
Right.
I guess you would call it a social scientist or something like that. But it's a book about me, so it was real easy to write about.
Did you find yourself getting frustrated at times, like trying to figure out what section of the book you should put certain things in when telling the story?
I know, because like I said, well, in the 8th grade I had the 3rd highest reading score in Trenton. So I love to read, and I was reading books on this. Like I read a book in prison called How to Publish It Yourself on Amazon.com. That's why I knew to publish it myself on Amazon. But I also read that book, and other books told me when you're writing a book, don't worry about what chapter, where you're going to put it. Just put it on a piece of paper and put it down, and you figure that out later. And it was right, because actually the chapter of the book wasn't Psychology of a Thug. This is actually a chapter in the book.
Got
it became the title later. So basically, if you want to write a book, just write it. Everything else will work itself out later.
Okay, so one of your philosophies says the thug needs to be seen and not feared. Can you say a little bit more about that?
We do, because people fear us because of the stigmas that's associated with their fears. Like a thug, the word originates from India, a Sanskrit word, and it was a gang that did ritualistic killings. That's not us. We don't do ritualistic killings, so we're not thugs. That type of thug, in that sense. But Tupac, he had a definition of a thug as somebody who don't have nothing, trying to come up. That's us right there. We were born with nothing and we trying to come up. So once you understand the psychology of us and why we're so aggressive, the traumas that we went through, because we all went through a lot of traumas. I've seen a lot of things. In the book I talked about, I've been mortally wounded, almost died, molested by my own mother, in prison for over 10 years. Once you begin to understand us, then you'll be able to help us. Because I have a lot of people that really do want to help us in our communities, but they don't understand us and they fear us. So how are you going to help somebody if you fear them?
Yeah, I always say you got to put yourself in other people's shoes to understand where they're coming from.
True. Yeah.
So, were you born in New York? Was it New York that you were born in?
Yes, I was born in Buffalo, New York, but I was raised in Trenton, New Jersey at a young age. Basically, I got a thing in there called family ties. I never knew my father. I only have like 3 memories of him. I write it in the book, So, it's a lot of things that have, that's the reason why I did what I did. Because that's why I started writing the book, because I was like, I do good. I got a CDL license. I work. I come home, get a car, get a job, get a place. A couple of years, I'm back in jail. You know, it got so bad to where the correction officer in the county jail would walk by and stop and come back and look at me like, what you doing here?
Like, why are you here?
Why am I here? You know? So it's like, I had to start trying to understand me. And by understanding me, you know, I could understand other people, why they are. Because I'm not scared of these cats. They like my children. I said, that's me. Because I understand them. Because I am them. So my job is to try to change people's stigmas about us so that they can help us, or they can understand us and won't fear us and see us, who we are. You know?
I really like that. That makes a lot of sense because, you know, a lot of people, like I said, they really don't know us and they're scared to get to know us. So it's like, how can they really relate or how can they help us if they don't know anything about us?
Exactly. They kind of discriminate against us. You know, every guy that you see with braids in his head or locks and a pair of Timbs on ain't a thug.
Right.
Some of them college professors, that's what happens.
That's true. You see somebody with tattoos or anything,
Automatically.
you automatically judge them.
I got a whole different deal with it. What's a thug?
You know what I'm saying? A whole different deal.
Yes,
I know what
like
a thug
what a
is.
thug is, like what a thug is. And I found out that I wasn't a thug, for one, you know, because I'm ticklish. Man, I don't know how hard, you know, somebody could be. Like you like if I held all of the drugs, if I had all of the kilos, whatever, like you don't even need a gun or a knife to get the answers. Like you lay me down and tickle me, I'm giving up everything. It's in the couch, like the bricks are in the couch. I'm a pig. Alright, I like that though, man.
Yes,
And you really got to be real comfortable, you know, with yourself for that, man. Like you had to do a lot of, in-depth thinking and studying on yourself to get that comfortable, to go inside yourself, to save yourself first before you could save others. You know, that takes a certain layer and level of, you know, confidence, you know, and that's a self-esteem, you know, that I myself was, you know, looking to achieve, to obtain too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, you know, people got different walks of life, different strokes for different folks. But I know for me personally, where I was in that particular time of my life, where my mind, body, and soul just weren't on the same accord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just wandering around in these streets aimlessly, man, just lost, just as a vessel. No hope, no true happiness or nothing. And to take certain paths, you know, in my life and, you know, change a lot of things up and a lot of that, you know, self-studying, man, and getting it together, you know, like really, really getting it together with a whole new way of life and a whole new way of thinking. You know, so I definitely, I like the title of that alone, you know, psychology, you know, of a thug, man, because I can relate to that title just alone. You know what I'm saying? You got to take that in-depth look at yourself, man, and you know that builds, you know, that self-esteem, and listening to you and talking to you, man. You sound like a real comfortable brother, man,
Right.
and you have to have that self-esteem for that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not questionable about anything. Like it's everything you say is with conviction. You know, so. Yeah, like that's definitely you got like a driver's seat type of feel. You know, like for once it's like, okay, I could mentally sit in the passenger seat, man, and you know let somebody you know direct the course, man. So you know, I give you that credit on that, man. That's awesome. You know, it's awesomely put together, bro.
Yes, sir.
And you know, nobody can just wake up and do that. You know, that take work. It takes work to do.
Yeah. Yes, sir. One of the counselors at my program that I go to is a mental health and addiction program. She first wanted to buy the book and she read it. And she was like, because I wrote the book on my phone, I don't have a computer. You know, I got a 32-gig chip on my phone. I told one of the counselors that, he was like, your phone is a computer, but I actually wrote my phone on my computer. I wrote the book on my phone. And I was doing one chapter a night till I got to the ninth, because it's 13 chapters. Then one weekend, I just was like, I'm done with everything. I don't even smoke weed or drink no more. I mean, I mentor kids, teach them how to play chess, and I just got focused. Like you were saying, you had to get focused, and I'm focused now. It's like you said, I'm like, this is what I was meant to do. I'm real focused on it. Like I got cue cards. I'm trying to write a speech, but I really don't need it. I could speak with this about this with conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lady was trying to do a survey on this, where I'm at on 50 Essex Street in this transitional housing. I actually got a place. I'm moving in July 1st. So the survey went from her trying to survey us to me talking, and she buying my book. She bought the book last night, and she want to read it, because I could talk about this. I told her I really don't need to write a speech. This is what I need. The speech is just, that's just to have some structure so I don't get off, the key points so I don't get off with this right here. I could talk about this all day because I've lived it my whole life, so, yeah, you're right. But, and if anybody want me to go in depth, I'll come anywhere to talk to them about it because this is what I want to do. I want to change people's perception of a thug. Because, it's not really all that they think. They'd be surprised to find out, like the brother said, ticklish.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They'd be surprised to find out how we are. Because I was in the county with a lot of these cats that was getting ready to go down for all this time. And you'd be surprised the conversations that we had. A lot of them graduated from high school. Someone was in college. I just they'll say something, I look at them, I say, you graduated from high school too, didn't you? They look at me, how you know that, Malik? Because you go, the way you speak.
Yeah.
I can tell you like, yeah, I did. So you'd be surprised who you know what I'm saying? These guys just ain't stupid.
That thug level go down. The thug radar go down.
Yeah. I didn't know I done shot him, I done found
I have a whole comedy set about that. It was a scenario I did called Thugs and Thoughts, but I ain't gonna get into all of it. but when I break down the scenario, the dude know if he a thug or not. When I break down the scenario, the ladies know if they a thought or not. and to touch on that thug thing, I was like, hey, I learned I wasn't a thug, man. When I found out I was ticklish and I can't hold a secret if I'm being tickled enough. Another way you can tell if a dude's not a thug, you got good credit. If your credit's anything, man.
Or it might be a
Like,
job.
this dude, man, like he'd be on the block like, man, let me go do a drive-by right now. I ain't got nothing to live for, brother. I would die tonight. Let's ride around there and let's go shoot them, man. I ain't scared to lose my life. And they get inside the car, and what's the first thing they put on? A seatbelt.
Everybody in.
Ready to die tonight. The first thing you put on is a seatbelt. Right? Safety first.
Yeah.
You want the guns, right? All right, cool. I'm here.
There's a lot of brothers, they out here, they want to be rescued. They want to be helped. I'm telling you, they do. When I talk to them, they really, a lot of them sorry that they did what they did. I mean, you know what I mean. When you're in the room with them, they do them heart to hearts. I'm an older brother. I treat them like my son. Now, I be talking junk to them cats, but they are my son.
Yeah.
It takes a tribe to raise a child, so they my kids. So I deal with them like they my kids, and a lot of them I know they dads. So I tell them I knew you before you knew yourself. You was still in your mom's belly, boy. You know what I'm saying? So but you'd be surprised, man. A lot of them is not really what you think they are. Right. They just got in a certain situation. They didn't know how to get out of it. They ain't know how to deal with it because this generation, where the fathers at.
Very true.
And then the men that is out here, a lot of them, they scared. Yeah. Or they're not scared, they're not willing to do what it takes to go to the streets and deal. And that's why I'm in this program called Fathers and Men United. And that's why I started mentoring the chess, so this is something that I'm really passionate about doing, man. Because I know, I see it firsthand, these cats need somebody in their life. So I'm just trying to do my part. I know I can't do it all, but I'm going to do what I can do.
Right. I respect you a lot for that. There's so much going on, especially with this generation.
Yeah,
and a lot, like you said, like a lot of them don't have their fathers, they don't have any guidance. So it's good that you can even be that person. Like, look at me, like I was there, but I turned it around. I wasn't really living that path. And you could do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the book.
Yeah, and the book out there. And every time I turn around, the reason I can say this is because I did it. I lived it. You can't say it. See, you can't. I'm not the person that you can say. You ain't never been. You ain't never did this. So how can you come and tell us? You know how the white people come in our neighborhoods and try to help us with no understanding of us.
What it is,
And
like
guys looking at it like, man, you ain't never lived the life I lived. You know, you ain't never ran home from school looking in the refrigerator, wasn't nothing water in there. Eating mayonnaise sandwiches, ketchup sandwich, any damn type of sandwich you could eat. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
You was happy when you saw it, man. I used to hum. Thought about it the other day. I said, damn, I used to hum when I eat. I used to hum, man. It took me a long time to get out of that. I used to hum because you know why? Because I was happy when I got some food. And I realized, I was thinking today, I was like, damn. I used to hum because I was happy when I got some food. Because we didn't always have food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
I wonder
You
if
gotta
that's where
live
that
that.
happy dance comes
Yeah, that happy dance.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we done all did that dance. We got the ice cream
Yeah,
truck.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? The happy dance.
Ice cream.
I still get happy when the ice cream
Yes,
truck
sir.
comes.
That's probably like two reasons. That's two reasons why the kids I know dance.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons they dance that nervous dance be like right before they get a beating. You know what I'm saying? You know, my sister gonna tell my nephew the other day, she's like, tell your uncle what you did. He gonna do the dance. He was like, I peed in bed. There's no reason to be dancing. Walk past me with a big old bowl of popcorn. I'm like, why you walk past me with that big bowl of popcorn? He was dancing. I ain't make a big bowl of popcorn. I made 3 big bowls of popcorn.
Not one move, but three.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yo, listen, man. Everything you touched on, man. That's exactly what strong black brothers are supposed, to do. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of whether we know it or not, we have this duty that's inherited, man. Like in our DNA, that so many have fought and died for. Just for us to be here and existing. Wouldn't want that any other way. You know what I'm saying? Like to push this message, man, because a lot of the rallying and protest don't have as much significance and weight as it did back in the civil rights days. You know what I'm saying? It's like to the point where the media, who play a lot in a lot of this, is trying to dumb it down to where, like now, if you look at it, when a young black male does get shot, and like we do rally, it's a problem. Like, oh, look at them all getting together now. Like, this is like it's this problem now. And that I done heard them be called thugs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
thugs are getting all together and like to the point where we can't even have our own movements. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as something happens and we come together creatively and we're like, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden somebody come out like, all lives matter.
Yeah.
And that person come out like, blue lives matter.
Yeah,
Well, that's
blue
the thing.
lives.
Green, yellow, red, orange, all these lives matter. But where was all of this? When did all lives matter just about a week prior to this?
Right.
I mean, like, we came out with the hashtag, with the shirts, and this, that, and the third, and somebody spun that and said, well, we're going to put hashtags and shirts and all this other stuff, too. Like, capitalizing off of, what I'm saying, the movement, which comes out of, like this tragedy, like this pain and sorrow, that we want to overcome,
Yes,
but all of that, definitely starts with like within our communities. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that we could do is to bring all of this back. You know what I'm saying? Like to bring these brothers back, man. It's almost becoming like a thing of the past, man. Like real is almost being replaced. But for what? Like what's the real agenda here?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because you see what taking out the great leaders have got us. Martin Luther King won the peace, got killed. Malcolm X, he had a movement. He gets killed. I mean, you could keep going and going. And Huey P. Newton, like all of the movements, you go on and go on and go on. These positive, influential brothers, and then when you get, a lot of, the confusion with the cross dressing and all this and finger, and then they blame them then it's like, oh, look at these guys acting all crazy and this is that and the third. Well, look what the generations and generations and generations were left with. So it got trickled down. Like every great person that tried to rise up got taken out. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like we got to be, quiet and strategic about reaching our own. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see what the big threat and the message to saving ourselves actually is. I mean, I can tell you, but I don't want to get everything one-sided,
Right.
you know, on this radio. But like if I could create an outline of it, like if it's too much of this, it's going to be less of this, and that's the threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we need to feel like our less is more important than what you got going on, man. But you know, especially like being of this color, like we only a small percentage of the entire population, but more than half the percentage inside the prison population.
Prison, yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, do the math to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, for more of this to flourish and exist, less of this has to occur, and that's the big threat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's so many games that, you know, that's played, man, to stop that from happening, man. Like, where systems are set up almost like a fucking circus, like Ringling Brothers circuses, man. And it's like, you know, put all of this shit, you know, in front of you, not to mention, you know, being held back, you know, for so long before you even get to these obstacles. And it's like always like this message, like you know how when racers be going in between running the relay racing, like they pass some water and everything. We just get these advice. You can do better. You know, you don't have to be inside this situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like fucked up cups of advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that only stagnated us even more, man. But the bigger picture is that, you know, brothers like you know, like you still exist. You know, like you don't give up. Like you don't. And you're, you know, you're an older seasoned brother. I'm not gonna call you old.
Yeah,
you know, but because like we were going into the younger generation. You know, like you're definitely a seasoned brother, man, and you didn't just give up, you know, halfway through your life like anybody listening. You know what? Like, I mean, let me just join the rest of the damn sheet. You know, like you kept that going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I'm one of the ones that just found my way, and I just found my way. Only death can separate me from this whole newfound way of life, man, and that's why I can relate so much. You know what I'm saying, to your book, man, to your words and everything, man. Like I'm at one with your whole movement, man.
Yeah. Like I said, it's no traffic on the extra mile. See, we the brothers that took that extra mile. You know, most people are just in the same rat race, like you said, but you got them people that do things that other people won't. They want to do. Like, I got people coming up to me that got degrees and everything. Could you tell me step by step how you did that? You know, it's people that always wanted to do this but never did it, and I did it. And I just did it. I did it on my phone.
That's just so inspiring.
The teacher was like, and my counselor was like, look, you got to put that in your next book. I said, all right, but what I'm saying is a lot of people coming up to me, like, and it's not that hard. I mean, it was hard, but it ain't that hard. Once I figured it out, it wasn't that hard. The next time it's gonna be easier. You know, I already got a couple of books. This is a series.
Okay.
You know, I was talking about the brothers in prison. I want to write a book about that. Prisons versus universities, and deal with how many. You know they're gonna get me for that one. I want to show how this country spends more money to put on young black men and women in prison than they do universities. You know, so but I got to do some research because it's out there. You know, it's free now. You got to release the information now. So
and they got a lot of people behind bars, man, that stay in that law library. That's better than
exactly
the lawyers that's out there.
Yes, sir. So
they don't want that to go out there, man.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of brothers in there. The lady, because I was in that reentry. You know, there's reentry month. Tracy Syfax got the reentry month going on. I went both to their rallies.
Shout out Mr. Syfax.
The president of Mercer County College was there, Dr. Wong. She was talking about that. She was going into the prison, and she said these guys are remarkable. Like, most of them graduate with top honors, and the graduation rate is better than her students on the outside. You know, she made she said, like, these guys so smart that they can figure out how to rob a bank. She told the people on the audience, we can't figure that out. We can get locked up. But this how that's how smart these guys. She said they're geniuses, you know, and she's right. You know, we use our smarts for something else. Like I said, I had the third highest reading score in Trenton. My counselor came to me and asked me to just come to school for 1 month, make a market period, make the honor roll, and she'll get me sent to a prep school. But my mom used to run the streets at night. She's a paranoid schizophrenic. So we used to be home weeks at a time by ourselves. I'm the oldest brother, you know. So the only thing I thought about every morning when I got up was how I was going to get some money to feed me and my brothers. So when she was saying it, I was looking at her like, yeah, right. You know, but it's crazy because that's the psychology of us. So I couldn't even concentrate on school. You know, I had to concentrate on taking care of my brothers at an early age. But, you know, that's what I'm saying, that's psychology. You know, because they prejudge us. It's even like with the mental thing. You got overt mental problems and covert mental problems. People think just because I can hold a conversation, I look well, that I don't have a problem. They, you know, they only think people that they can see with the problem, you know, have a problem. But you got a lot of people like me. We have problems. We got a lot of deep traumas that we went through. They diagnosed me with anxiety and depressive disorder. I got anger. I take medicine for anger because I do have blackouts, and I noticed that I had blackouts after talking to them. I remember that I used to always have blackouts when I was a teenager. When I get mad, I used to black out. My friends used to tell me what happened. You know, so.
You grew up pretty much inner city, though, right?
Yeah, fighting on them, you gotta fight.
In a city where liquor stores and bars are
right
every
there.
corner.
I was going to the store earlier.
And listen, you could walk on certain blocks in Trenton and see bars directly across the street from the church.
I lived over top of Clayton.
You go on Clinton Avenue and look at LaGuardia sitting right next door to Ant's place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the dumb down right there. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the other elements to take us out of our natural selves. You know what I'm saying? Now mind you, you get hooked on that stuff and you go through all of that and you know, you like, it's the alcohol and these drugs making me crazy, this, that, and the third. You can even go to rehab, get yourself together. And just like what you touched on, you found out that the problem is much deeper than that.
Yep.
That, you know, these problems existed well within you before any drug or any substance ever even took part inside you. You know what I'm saying? It's a much more deep-rooted issue. I mean, it's more than just, oh yeah, these bills are piling up. Let me go get drunk, and then realizing that now that I'm sober, that the bill's still there. Well, guess what? That mental anguish, man. That you know what I'm saying? Like those untreated and undiagnosed, you know what I'm saying? Symptoms are still there.
And if you don't treat them,
you wait years after that.
What they call it? They say. Doing the same thing over and over again. Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't never treat it, like you said, you're gonna you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna keep getting what you got.
I'm well familiar with that. You know, with the recovery lingo. I came up on 8 years, May 30th.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And
that's a blessing.
And I know, being out here, man, running inside these same streets, right? And I remember finally getting it together. I remember one of the hustlers coming up to me, and I just got out of my brand new car. I had the suit on. My daughter was just born. I had her inside the car seat and stuff. And initially, when he saw me, he like, I got it. When I told him about the new way of life that I was in, I was probably like a year, probably 2 years clean, and like this new way of life, and then the whole dynamics changed. And then it was like, he looking at me like, bro, I want what you got, man.
Yes, sir.
He like, man, like you jumping out the new car and, you know, your life is all together, man. And here I am, you know, stuck. And I'm the one, I'm like, you should have it. Like, you can hustle.
Yeah, right.
And then kind of break it down to him, man. You know, I took that path because you know personally where I was at with mine. That's why I took the path I took. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to take a different path to get out of that lifestyle if you want to achieve more. Like, just tugging away at your soul every single day, man. And, you know, you feeling that it's causing more damage than good, man. Listen, the only thing you fear right now is change. Switch it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Change your scenery. You know, change your scenery, change your friends. Like, I learned that the hard way. Random people, places, and things.
Yes, sir.
I call myself taking advice from a brother that said, you could do it, it's just on how you do it. See, you was just wild and wanted to fight and all that other stuff. I was like, you know what? You right. Let me go back out there to the same type of lifestyle that was killing me before because it made sense. Yeah. It made sense, man. Then I found myself with, you know, some odd amount of clean time in, and I was speaking in a building, and I touched on that story. And when everything was said and done, guess who comes up to tell me, man, you had a good message? That same person.
Same person.
That was like, you know, you could do it. Then all I could think to myself, damn, like, man, that story was about you.
Only if you
You
know.
know, man, but that's one thing about them tables, man. Like, you know,
Yes,
they do
sir.
turn, man.
Yes,
And,
sir.
you know, I won't take them blessings for granted, man. And just like you, man, like every young brother that comes within my path, you know, I make sure that they're going to leave with something.
Yes,
Some
sir.
type of learning experience. You know what I'm saying? Like some type of, you know, food for thought or something to think about. Only because I spent that much time on myself and discipline on myself that, you know, this is what brought me out and saved me. You know what I'm saying? So in me doing me, maybe that'll help you, you know, whether it's just a little bit, you know, in the sense of like, you know, not being able to save the world, but teach an individual person how to save themselves.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So it definitely starts
That's
there,
true.
man.
That's the way to
Start
go.
with that person that's on the inside, man. And
Yeah.
from there, yeah, you can reach the world. Like, once you
Yes,
get
sir.
that feeling, like you liberate within yourself, ain't nothing, no obstacle that can hold you back. You know what I'm saying? You like, man, look, man,
It's
you
the
got
best amends you can make, changing your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you can give them. What you said, become a beacon of hope. Because I remember growing after I came to the Nation of Islam. I talked about that too. I was cool for like 15 years. I didn't smoke no cigarettes or nothing. But 88, I came home and I was walking down Stuyvesant in the same streets that I terrorized. And all these, every time, it's every so often, one of them would call me to the side. It's Mary. One of them's like, they like what I was doing, keep doing what I'm doing. You know, it was like the best amends that I could do. It wasn't like I could come up to them. Like coming up to them saying, I'm sorry, you know, that I was like that. You know, sometimes, you know, I'm sorry it's not good enough. You know, so that was the best amends I could make. And even my grandmother, God bless the dead, I remember she called, stopped me from going out the house. This is when I started listening to her, because before I used to just run in and run out. You know how we do. Come in and get something to eat. I ain't got time, girl, when I'm gone. But because I had to learn patience, I had started listening to her. So I sat down and she said, Bobby, I don't know what you into or what that about. But she said, whatever you into, whatever you doing, she said, you keep doing it. Because that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? So it was like the best amends that you could make. It's about changing your life. Just like the brother said, you know, when you change your life, you can help others. So, you know, it's a blessing because everybody don't do it. You got a lot of brothers out there just like us that could do way more than we can do, but you know, they're just not, they're not
leaders
ready.
out there.
Yeah, they're not ready to change their life.
They don't even know
So
it.
you only can be who you are,
Yeah.
and people, you got to deal with people at what they say. You got to deal with people where they at. You can't put expectations on a person. You only can do what you can do.
That's very
Do
true.
what you can do, man.
That's it. Do what you can do. Yep. So, I might not be the best person in the world, but I'm the best person, the best me I could be.
Right.
I try to make my good deeds outweigh my bad deeds, and that's what I could do. I try to do something good. Like I said, like, if I come and run into these young brothers, they know they're going to get something out of me. Matter of fact, they be like, come on, Malik. Here we go back. I'm going to give it to you. You man. If I had a brother come up through one of my fruit from back in 99, he just started studying again. He was like, he's studying, I don't know, for some reason, he at that point in his life where he starting to try to, you know, get it. And he was like, man, hold up. Malik used to always teach me out the Bible. Muslim guys used to teach him out the Bible because, you know, knowledge is infinite. You know what I'm saying? So, but he started reading and he told me, he said, man, he's starting to get it. He's starting to remember all the stuff that I told him. He's starting to see it now. Because, you know, you can't give a person knowledge. You can just only pass it on. They got to get it for
Very
themselves. You know, I don't want nobody to take what I say to you word of mouth. You're supposed to research it for yourself. Put and apply it. Put it in practice. That's when the truth is yours. When you apply it and put it in
That's so
practice.
true.
Put it in practice in your life. You know, so.
Once you get it, man, take that, bottle it, and
Yes,
run with
sir.
it, man. Don't
Yeah,
let it
yeah.
go.
'Cause it's
Don't
yours
let
now.
it go,
Shoot.
man.
Then you, like you said, you can speak with conviction because you know, you lived it. You know this is true. You know, because it's true. You know, it's true for you.
Yeah, man, especially getting back. You know, it's almost like, you know, you're getting back to know yourself again.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, where the hell have I been this whole time? Damn, hello, me. Hey, me. Damn, how have I been? I've been good. How about you? I've been here the whole time. I'm just waiting on you to get here. Whole conversation with yourself. Whole conversation like that. Yeah, man, I ain't see you in a while, man. Where you been, man? You know, in the streets, man. Doing some old dumb shit, man. I'm glad you ain't leaving me behind. Looking in the mirror like you do realize you're talking to you, right? Right. Me talking to me. I'm just glad we all on the same accord now.
Sir, right.
Glad the mind and the body and the soul are all talking with the same voice now, instead of having attitudes with each other. Get so mad you stop talking to your damn self. You know, don't say nothing to me all day. Don't say nothing to me.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, don't mind me, man, because I mean a lot of that is some of that lifestyle that I that new way of life that I picked up along the way. Like once I put down a bunch of the negative stuff, I dabbled into other things, man. And comedy happened to be one of them. I got into it by accident, but the good feeling of it, like that sensation, you know what I'm saying? It was like I bottled it, I captured it, took it and ran with it, and I ain't gonna let it go.
Yeah, it's good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let that feeling go. I'm naturally goofy. I like to laugh, and I learned that there's a gift to making other people laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, laughter is the best medicine. You know, laughter can be contagious, man. You gotta live, love, and laugh, man. And like when I found out I was good at it, that's what I was doing. But it was a gift and a curse. I literally watched the gift and the curse unfold the day I had my math teacher and my mom at a show cracking up laughing. I was like, wait a minute, wait. I remember getting kicked out of your class into the ever-loving arms of my mother. Straight ass whooping. Kicked out of your class to an ass whooping to her. Here y'all are both laughing at a show at these same jokes that got me kicked out of class. I'll never forget it, man. My math teacher told me, she was like, there's a time and place for everything. You just happen to channel your inner asshole, and now it's a benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like now you're using it for the greater good. You know, I'm like, man, listen, it wasn't a joke back then. We can laugh about it now. You know, man. But just told me tell y'all, he got a comedy show coming up too. I think I'm a part of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm on the flyer, but I'm gonna try to make it if I could. If I'm available. Yeah. So, I'm gonna see if I can make that. Sorry, Justin, if you look, I'm trying to make that. I know you put me on the flyer and everything, but I gotta see how my schedule was looking. You ain't asked me first. You ain't asked me to put my face on the flyer, but I'm trying to make it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make that too, man. Where's it gonna be?
Man, it's gonna be in Philly, man. 1640 West Hunter Park Ave, Philadelphia's Tickle My Funny Bone comedy show, hosted by my man Top Flight. I'm definitely in the building performing. Maria Sanchez, my boy Turn Up Sharp, comedian Natalie, comedian Chubby Roll, man. A lot of Trenton Zone gonna be there. My man Hez Green from Philly. And I definitely rock with that. He got a whole Philly network here. Sean Harvey is hilarious. Tickets $20 in advance. Hopefully, they got at least some chicken wings or something there, man. New Style Entertainment Complex, man, and that's July 8th. It's going to be on a Saturday, July 8th, man. The Tickle My Funny Bone comedy show. Yeah. And I am on the flyer. I'm dead serious. I'll see if I can make it. Let you tell me something, brother. Let you cut that check early. Look, all right, man. Check your account. Put the money in there. Okay, now I can make it. Now we're talking. I'm gonna make it.
Well, I was supposed to be on. What is that? On the Rail tomorrow with Dan Freedom Green.
Nice.
Okay, and next month on the 29th, I'm doing a book signing at Classics Rare and Books. 4 Lafayette Street, downtown, Eric Maywar. So, things just starting to move for me. It's a blessing. I got good people working with me. They pushing me in the right direction. And they saying I'm already, when they met me, it's like, you already ready. I guess I wrote the book already. But, they helped me a lot, though. Because, to re-edit, what they say, redo my brand. My brand is going to be the Thug Doctor. But, Psychology of the Thug, that's the first book. I got the next book, but I ain't going to tell you what it is yet. Because it might change. Just like this one changed, the title might change. But, I'm excited about it. Psychology of a Thug can be purchased on Amazon.com. You can actually Google it and just Google it. It'll take you to the site. But if you go to Amazon.com, you can get the paperback and the ebook. If you buy the paperback, you can get the ebook at half the price. I publish it myself, so I have no publisher yet. So if anybody want to try to talk to me about publishing it, hey, we can talk. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. It's like something that I always wanted to do. I could tell this is what I meant to do. I just wanted to stay focused and make sure I get out the way and let God do His work. You know, because sometimes we start thinking other things like I'll get me a truck and do contracting because I know how to do a lot. Nah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my job. Like the brother said, comedy is your job. This is my job now. I know it. You know what I'm saying? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I could tell, like, comedy is your job. You just like me. I don't need, like I said, I don't need no cue cards or nothing. Really, the only reason I do it is so I can stay focused.
Right.
Like, this is me. You know, the book is me. So why would I need something that I just know that I gotta stay focused and I'll get better at it as time go on. You know, so and I will go anywhere to, you know, to share this message because the world needs this message. It ain't just in Trenton, you know, it ain't just in Jersey, it just ain't even here. You know, the world needs this message because, you know, all people of color are the same thing. They risk being discriminated against, you know, so in the wrong way.
First name Leo.
I'm gonna do an example. You know, when I go to these speaking engagements, but you know, it's a simple example is Trayvon Martin, brother just walking down the street with his hood on, going to visit his dad. You know, like you said, all these people getting shot down and killed with Black Lives Matter. You know, just because they're black, they're being misrepresented and misinterpreted. You know, gotta change that, change people thinking so they can see us and not fear us. Or, you know, see us for who we really are, understand us. Because right now they fear us because they don't, you know, you fear what you don't know. That's simple. People fear the unknown. So if you don't know something about something, you're always gonna fear. So it's time for us to make what's not known known, you know. And I qualify because I am the thug. You know, I have been discriminated against also. You know, I see how you deal with me on certain levels, you know, so it's time to change people's, they change their minds, change their understanding, and change their stigmas and their fears. You know, we don't have to do it because it's never going to get better if we don't. It's really just getting worse. You know, it's getting worse. So somebody got to do it. So hopefully this will be like that movie with Pass It Forward. You know, hopefully we can just get something started and just pass forward. We get other brothers to step up too. You know, I know what I'm gonna do. What I could do. You know,
Collectively, all right.
Yes.
Definitely have a like minds connect. You know, and innovational brothers like you know, meet up with, you know, other innovational brothers and network, man, and, you know, somebody, you know, see that and, you know, they want to be a part of that, and that expands the network, and, you know, keep that going and going and going and going, man, and make it inherited, man, like within families. You know, like I adopt that mentality, you know, with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm gonna be the best knower to them. You know what I'm saying? Like before the streets figure that they can raise them before I can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like same thing I tell my daughter. Like, you know, if you find a man, you know, that can out knowledge and wisdom me. You know what I'm saying? Like, until then, I'm out there in the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whoever is going to go through the ringer. You know, and, like, you find a more, you know, qualified person than me, then I'll be their child. You know what I'm saying? But like until then, it's like, you know, you got them questions. You know, yes, you know, the answer is here. You know what I'm saying? Same for my son before. You know, they go seeking solutions for something that ain't even really there. You know what I'm saying? Looking for love for something that don't love them back.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's the point. That's exactly why it's important, man.
Yeah.
You know, men them broken generations, man. Lost generations over years and years and years, man. And, Trying to get that leg up with the rest of society, you know,
Yes,
because
sir.
a lot of them don't go through these problems that we go through. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
It's so much unity that's already established within these other races because a lot of their heritage, for one, is all still intact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they got old tribe songs and you know from way
Cultures,
centuries
yeah.
back, and their great grandfather was and like we the only ones that don't have that sense of history, man.
Yeah.
And to get that, man, to feel liberated, like to feel a part of something. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being so divided. You know what I'm saying? Like through households, and then when households are divided, man, the communities are divided. When communities are divided, man, the whole town is divided. Towns to cities and all of that, man, it's just divided. It just be one big mess, man.
Yeah.
You just got them ones that's like collective, like, nah, look, like we got this history, like we got this heritage, man, like, and it was unity. Like we weren't made to hate, fight, and kill one another.
No, sir.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
definitely.
Yeah, man. And the ones that do fear that, you know what I'm saying, of course, like they're looking at the broad spectrum, the way it was systematically made, you know what I'm saying, like that's why they fear that. When you break that down to them, like, look, there were systematic things in place that made this the way, whole collectively. When you talk to me as a person, you realize that I'm not a symbol of the, what you thought was, what it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I thought that all, or I thought that everybody, no. Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as it's that oneness and like that unity, they have no problem going over to that side over there because everybody's on the same accord. They have no problem going over here to this because everybody's on the same accord because it's a heritage generational thing. But why go over there when everything's all this, that, and the third? And you gotta explain to that mind that doesn't know it. Okay, for one, it was made like that. From the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? We could break that down. But the true heritage is this, that, and you break it down. You get to know a person. And then it's the compassion, it's the trust, it's all of that. Like, I was unaware. That's all it took. What's the question? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what sparks it.
Unity is the key. Safety in numbers.
I call it UFO. UFO. Unity, faith, and organization.
There you go.
I like that.
Yes,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
like that.
Like you first gotta, get together. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, like I said, a lot of that oneness be a heritage that a lot of these other walks of life have in common. You know what I'm saying? So we need that unity, need that faith, and you know what I'm saying? The last step, organization, organize. You know what I'm saying? To, claim, your area, claim what's yours. You know what I'm saying? Instead of owning a spot and being all divided and everything coming in and building you right out of it. Everything will build right around you to the point that it's no longer yours no more.
Right.
That's almost like, like I'm in this house, but I ain't paid rent, nothing like that. And instead of the landlord telling me to get out, another family just moved right on in. Now they done enclosed this whole quarters and somehow I'm outside the house. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what happened if you just sit and let other, things build around you instead of getting together and, building, ourselves, yourselves. You know what I'm saying? We could claim something, of our own.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of getting knocked down in that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't say, that as a society we haven't tried that. Look at Black Wall Street in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you have bus systems, plane systems, train systems. But like I said in the beginning, for one thing to flourish, another thing has to die, and that's the big threat.
That's the big
Like,
threat.
and see, we could build the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want to do?
Right.
What is more pivotal, to society as a whole? What is more beneficial? You know what I'm saying? Economically, socially, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Together. Like we could build, or we could bullshit. Just know that we good at both.
It's like you can't get discouraged when one thing doesn't work. I feel like that happens a lot too.
That's why we can't. Like you can't. Like we ain't just give up. Like every time we build something, knock it down anyway. No. That's what innovators are made of.
Right.
Because at the same time, they're like, no, you can't build it and make it look good. But at the same time, Like, let me kind of copy your swag.
Yeah.
Let me kind of copy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, you know, what you said was cool. Or, damn, well, how you did, or how did you do that? Because now that makes that go faster. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the inventions and ideas and everything are still innovative and still, produced, through great minds and, of other minds that want to know, how something works. Because at the end of the day, they could be struggling with something else. And then here we come along, all you have to do is put that with that. And that does that. Oh, I never knew that.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what's pivotal. That's what's beneficial. You know what I'm saying, to society. As a whole, man. Just gotta give us, the opportunity, man, and the time to flourish, man. We can let the world know, we do got skills. We do got what it takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we are inventors. Yes, we are beautiful. Yes, we can. You know what I'm saying? Compete. You know what I'm saying? In today's world, man, with other, countries, other societies, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody ever said we couldn't. Just have the resources and the opportunities to do it.
That's why I believe in home teaching, because we can't let nobody. Because now you can see the results of it. You can't send your kids to school to be learn how to be, innovators. I mean, sometimes they go, but I'll tell you the truth. I learned most of the shit that I know on the streets from school. From school, we were shooting dice, don't flip. I'm telling you, I learned all that at the boys' club in school. I mean, we were supposed to be going there to, have fun. When your parents was at work, they come pick you up, and I learned everything right there. So a lot of times, if you can, I know we need to work, but if you can, if you ever notice, most of the kids that's homeschooled got a big leg up, because like I said, I was in the 8th grade with third highest reading score in Trenton. I wouldn't go to school for like a month. And every time my teachers see me coming to class, my own friends, they still laugh about it. They said, we knew we was going to have a test. As soon as they see you, we had a test. I take the test, I get A's and B's. They've been there the whole month, they getting C's and B's. They still be laughing, but how the hell did you do that? But my thing was, like, when you taught it to me, I knew it. You know how I used to go over subjects for weeks and shit like that? So one teacher told me, God bless his dad, I think it was Mr. Kimball. He was like, well, why didn't you say something? I'm looking at this dummy like, I'm the student, you the teacher, and I'm supposed to say something. Come on, man. That's why we need to be homeschooled, because now they got that gifted. When they notice it, they automatically put them in another class, and they challenge them like they, you know what I'm saying? They give them different work. Mm-hmm. But if you're at home, I know there's a lot of kids that's home. Like my son, who I'm fighting to get supervised custody with, but he's 14 years old, brainiac. He on the honor roll all the time, but he's taking college credit. Take 6 credits a semester. By the time he get his high school diploma, he's going to have a bachelor's degree in engineering. See, my baby's, his mother is challenging him. We challenge the kids, man. They will. You'd be surprised, especially if you see that they gifted like that. Right. He's going to school and he's taking 6 credits a semester. She's doing what you're supposed to do. Really, so I can't say nothing about it. But these kids, a lot of them out there like that, man. They start off smart as hell. There's a lot of kids like that, but because they never get that chance to, be challenged and let them learn what they want to learn. You be trying to force stuff on them. Kids be wanting to, they're interested in the subject. Let them study that subject. And push them. You'd be surprised, man. All these kids is gifted and talented. So I'm like kind of in favor of homeschooling. If you can afford to do it, you can afford to teach your kids and get those things. Because I know we can't afford it. People got to go to work. But if you can, do it. Or even if you can't do it, teach them at home anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying? The parents that do the homework with them and teach them at home. Like, they weren't teaching them Black history when I was going to school. And my first Black history studies was in 6th grade. Mm-hmm. Miss Williams, she spent her own money and bought one of those things, had it in the back of the class. I read it. It was like, I don't know, maybe 12 books in there. I read it back and forth. Mm-hmm. Every time you turn around, I was in there. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, you know, so I was interested in black studies. But when I went to junior 3, they gave me American history. I opened that book and it said George Washington was father of my native country. I said, father of who? And I closed the book and I never went back to the class. You know, I wasn't interested in that no more. You know, it was like they didn't have a black history. They had American history. I didn't want to know that. I wanted to know about my history. So, you know, we got to, it was in me at an early age, you know. So, we got to teach our children our history and our heritage, you know, so that they can have something to be proud about. I don't teach them just about slavery. You know, they got people thinking that our history started with slavery.
Heck no, man.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Listen, you gotta tell them about places like $10 too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta tell them, you know what I'm saying, like about like the first libraries, first banking systems, and all of that.
Like
you know what I'm saying? Like, man, listen here, like the history of the history.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
so
saying?
much
Like,
more.
not just the stuff that they was trying to tell us, like,
Yeah.
you know, like they put some random slave out the book, and then he got a horse and he had his own, you know, this, that, and the third. No. We need the history inside the history of the history. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's dare to talk about the stuff like, you know, well, the oldest artifacts are in Africa. Like, you know, the oldest. Man, like I was watching a documentary on the History Channel, right? And it was like the title of it was called like the Start of Civilization. And the title of it was called The Start of Civilization. And right as soon as it came on, it was a picture of Africa. I could feel the ratings dropping. Just that fast. Like, wait, the start of civilization, let me see what this is about. Africa's turn. I'm watching Seinfeld. No, I'm not going to believe that. Like, you know, at the end of the day, man, like, same way I tell a lot of brothers, man, like, you know, anything, I say, you know what I'm saying, especially, like, as far as history, I can back it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't too many times I just said this. I'm like, well, let me go research that if I ain't put the research into myself. So, like, when I do be dropping gems on, like, a lot of young dudes, whatever, I'm like, you ain't got to take my word for it, man. You go Google it, look it up, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these dudes are raised off of Instagram and all of that shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, you got the technology to do it. Like I be inside the house with my mom. She's super Christian. Super duper Christian. You know what I'm saying? And we're going out, and I drop a gem. And she hit me up, like, in the middle of the night. Can you say what you had said again earlier with the thing? And I said, like, you are absolutely right because it's right here. I'm looking right at it right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's that respect. It's that homage. You know, like, all right, you know, well, whatever it was that worked for you, like you said, keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that makes you a productive member of society. Like, same way, excuse me, like, I've been with a lot of people, and it'd be like, it don't matter whether you're Jehovah's Witness, Christian, Catholic, whatever, and we have a good, open conversation and it ain't rowdy and you know all that other stuff. If it's cool and we both learn something at the end of it, but more power to you. Whatever works for you. Whatever makes you get up in the morning and put on your socks and shoes just like me and get dressed just like me and, you know, want the best for our kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just like one another. Keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes you a productive member of society. Like, just because we got different walks of life, we don't have to be at odds. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like I'm all for that. You know, I'm good for a good, open, honest build. You know, I done got into it with Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, where they told me something, I'm like, all right, cool. You know, let me go check that out. And then I done told them something, but they were like, didn't know that myself.
It's funny because I remember I had a conversation with one, right? And the first thing she did was open the book, flip the page in it, like a couple pages, and she was going to where, you know, it was a thing written. So I said, before we even get into that, I said, let's go back to the beginning of the book where it has a publisher. It got, you know what I'm saying? It got a person who manufactured it. And then it's a couple other things that's missing because the indoctrination is real. You know what I mean?
You're like, now let's go back to the
beginning. Because at the end of the book, they're going to show it again.
Speaking of the beginning, that's what I hit the Jehovah's Witness. It was a female. And, like, because mind you, I do delivery. So they went to my helper first. So my helper got took off guard, and he sent them my way. He knew what was going to happen. He knew what was coming. He was like, look, I don't know nothing about that, but my man right there helped me. And I stopped everything I was doing. I had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, something to pop. And she came up to me, she's like, "Are you prepared for Jehovah's? You know, this is that and the third. You know the usual transcript that they read. You know what I'm saying?" So first thing I said, "Let's go to the beginning," and I kept it real simple. I was like, they said, "God made man, right?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, the first two people, I'm gonna make it real short and brief. First two people were Adam and Eve, right? She was like, yeah, they were Adam and Eve. I said, yeah, that Adam and Eve had reproduced, and then they had two children, Cain and Abel, right? Yeah, they had Cain and Abel. Yeah, but then Cain killed Abel because God had set the Abel's offering and not his, over jealousy, right? Yeah, that's right. This is where it gets tricky. Now she listened. I said, well, then Cain fled to the land of Nod, where he met his wife and begot his first child. And I was like, how are there people over there on the other side of town? And it messed her up. Messed her up.
Slow down. That's like, where they come from?
I said, you know what? Shake that out your head. I got another one for you.
About that.
Yeah, that's better. You go
Before she even had a chance to rebound, I was like, I got another one for you.
Yeah.
And this one, like, by the time I left that, she wanted my phone number. And she's like, what is your number? Like, because we can talk, a lot more about, all this other stuff. And you know what? I still respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just out here, doing, your thing.
Yeah.
It makes you a productive member of society. You didn't come up to me in a threatening manner. It's something that you knew, like, oh, let me stab you and all this other stuff. Crazy is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Love is love. You know what I'm saying? We all want the same things for each other, man. Like, so, and that's how I stepped off with that. And I'll be going in my deliveries, and like I have helped tell me, bro, I'm like, bro, trust me, I ain't nothing but the tip of the iceberg. You know what I'm saying? If you really want some information, I can direct you to where what put me on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you really want to, be blown out the water, man. I talked with a brother one time, man. I was in Philly at the family day. It was me and two other brothers. When the other dude stepped off, the other one leaned over to me. He said, I knew my man for about 3 years. He said, he ain't never built on the same thing twice.
That's slick.
Yeah.
Knew that man for like 3 years. Said he
Never built on the same thing twice. That's slick.
That's right, man. That's why that knowledge
Wealth
is
and
in
knowledge,
abundance,
yes,
man. In abundance, I got a little history on Elijah Muhammad. We told that Elijah Muhammad could take a degree and talk about it for 30 days, not say the same thing, not double back.
Wow. Yeah.
It's some vigorous studies, man. That's that vigorous discipline,
Yeah.
and it's in us. It's in all of us, man. And all it took was a fraction of that for me to go, you know what? Let me stop the bullshit that I'm doing, man. I'm all out here, man. Let me get to know myself again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was so disconnected with me. Like I said, nigga, you're welcome back, brother. Like, where have you been? I was in you the whole time. I thought you would look aside and wake me up, man. We was waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? The heart and soul was waiting on you, man.
You're right. That's where it's at.
Mind, body, and soul all got on the
It
same
ain't go
court.
nowhere. The truth is the truth. It ain't changed. It may change. Not definition. It changed the way you deliver it. You make it big, you got a lie in it. You know what I'm saying? They said how many ways you for every action is a reaction. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's said in a different delivery. The truth don't change. The truth is the truth. It's like you said, it was here all the way, just waiting for it. So that's what our people got to do: wake up to the truth within ourselves.
Know yourself again, man.
Because it's in us already.
And I mean, like anything that you come across and you go, that's it. Like, like that's what reached me. Take that, bottle it, and run with that, man, and don't lose it, man. Because like, it ain't nothing like getting glimpses of something that helps you out mentally, spiritually, and physically, and disregarding it, and then being right back into like, you gotta refine yourself.
I know better.
Take it, bottle it, hold it, take it and run with it. Embrace it, live it, wrap yourself in it. Don't let that thing go, and don't let nobody discourage you, man, from being the best you that you could be. Yes, I'm all for that. I'm all for that, man. Like it makes me feel some, a really good way. Like when I see somebody and like they notice, they're like, you the funny dude.
Yeah.
I love that. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody tell me my own joke. They like, bruh, when you said the joke, man, about when with the sock and the bun and the thing, oh my gosh, and it's a feeling that's like you can't even describe it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like what I was going through was a breakthrough for you. You know what I'm saying? Like what might have been my breakdown was your breakthrough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it works back and forth. You know what I'm saying? That's the negative and the positive. The gift and encouragement, all of that, man. And, we just utilizing that, man, to get on one common accord, man. And that's live, love, and laugh, man.
Yeah. Art of war, what it says to be. You have to be extremely brave to feign cowardice. You have to be extremely strong to feign weakness. So, in order for, like Shaka Zulu, remember he sent his son in and let them catch him? They had him, I don't know if everybody, the Dawn of Shaka Zulu. The king sent his son in there because he was in there as a spy. They thought they captured him. He called himself beating him up. But he was in there looking, see how many people it is, how many weapons they got. But he had to be extremely strong to feign weakness, because he wasn't weak.
Yeah.
He had to be extremely brave to feign cowardness, because he wasn't no coward. And you sit up there, they thinking they doing something to him. Next thing you know, when they went to sleep, he slipped out, came back and told his dad what was going on. They tore them British up. But you know, it's like, in order for you to do things like that, like he doing comedy, you know, he got to be extremely the opposite to be able to do it and to make it funny. You know, see, because you can hear him, I'm listening to him, I'm like, brother, got knowledge of self. He like me. Got knowledge of self. You might not hear me speak. I ain't going to say too much because, you know, you don't like to go with people's head neither. You know what I'm saying? You speak, like you said, you deal with people where they at.
I battle with that.
Drink.
I battle with that for a little bit.
Yeah, you tear jokers up. I used to do it all the time. I tear them up. They be like looking at me like, and you can tell when you go over somebody's head when they don't say something. They don't respond. Then I write soon. Now I didn't came to the habit because I'm older now. So when I do it, I just come right back and I go back where they was at. But before I used to do it and just keep going, keep going. Ah man, you don't want to go over people's head. You deal with them where they at. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna get nothing out of it if you do that. You know, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate them or pass off knowledge that you have. So why would you go over their head?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you feed the baby milk. You don't feed them steak.
Very true.
It ain't your knowledge anywhere. Knowledge was infinite. It was here before you got it, and it's gonna be here when you gone. Like you holding on to it and shooting it out there like it's yours. It ain't yours. Knowledge is a free man. It's in my book. Knowledge is a free man, and he walks with those that seek him. Knowledge is not a slave to any institution, like Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. Like I said, he's a free man. He walks with those. You don't got to go to them schools to get knowledge. I ain't get my knowledge from there. I got my knowledge because I wanted it. I saw it, and it's a free man. You ain't got to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get the knowledge we got from no school. We got it because we wanted it. And when you thirsty like that and you hungry for it, like when you had that breakthrough, like you said, bro, and I was thirsty. I was buying the books off the 104 book list. If I couldn't find them at the library, I was buying them. 30, 40, 50 hours from Barnes and Noble. I ain't care. But you know, that's where that knowledge comes from. You know?
Okay.
Like you said, bro, this ain't ours anyway. So don't hold it back. Don't try to be what you call like acting like it's yours. You know, you up there like you big eyes and little U's, because it ain't like that neither. So like you said, you run into a brother like that guy, that ain't said to say that he built on the same thing. Yeah. See, that's what happens. See, God, you know, it ain't even. It's like the God in you, because I believe we gods. So you run into, you know, what happened. The natural order of things is because you doing that, you just draw yourself right into that guy who ain't never built on the same thing twice in one day. And you thinking you sharp. So you want to go over everybody's head. Huh?
Word.
You know what I'm saying? You want to go over everybody's head. You mess around and shoot at him because you looking at him. He looking like John the Baptist.
Man,
he wearing grass skirt. He wearing grass with a grass skirt and eating locusts and honey. So you don't know who he is.
Listen here, right? I was at Harlem. I was at Harlem at the school, right? So we in the cafeteria. So I see the in my view, the wino.
Yeah.
Head all in the tray. I know he drunk. You could hear him. He grunting while he eating. He grunting. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm assuming that he was just walking by the school. He knew exactly when the rally was going to be over and they was going to start passing out the food, you know, so he eating. Okay, I ain't say nothing. I go outside, man, after everything's said and done in the cafeteria, talking to somebody. I just hear somebody going in. They going in, they attracting this big old crowd. They going, and I look, who is it? Same dude whose face was all on the tray. Looked like he was about as drunk as I don't know what. Standing up, going in, attracted the whole crowd. I said, see, that's exactly right there. I said, you walk up on the man right there thinking he don't know his shit and get bombed.
Make you boy feel like this. Think you had to go back to the Shaolin Temple or Wu-Tang. I said, yeah, you send a joker back to the Wu. Go study your style some more.
Hey,
You know what I'm
man,
saying?
I said, now that's the legend of the drunken master right
Yes,
there.
sir.
Run up on him if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, anybody with a Steve, man, y'all letting brothers like this fall into heat. What? Come here, young it. Boop, boop,
Bang,
boop, boop.
bang,
Yeah,
boom.
went in.
You going back to school like this, lamping, master.
Yeah, like, man, excuse me. Like, pardon me. All right, let me get my shit together. Hold on.
Yes, sir. You gotta watch it. Yeah, watch you, man.
Yeah,
It's not ours. It's that, you know, that's what people get. You know, even them kung fu, they allegories. You know what I'm saying? God lead the temple, take it to God, and he go do something else with it. You know what I'm saying? That he ain't supposed to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Enter the Dragon, man. That's him. Exact thing. He doing stuff he ain't supposed to do. He thinking it's his. He got to that level where he dealing with illusions. You know what I mean? And you could be humble. And the perfect example was Bruce Lee on the boat with the white dude that killed his sister. What did he tell him? He said, "What type of technique you know?" He said, "I know the technique of fighting without fighting." He looked at him, "What type of technique is that?" Because he was beating up all the other Chinese dudes. Bruce Lee just looked at him like, okay. So he was like, "All right, you want to fight? Let's take this boat. We're going to go over there to that island." He said, "You first." Dummy got on the boat. He took the rope, let it out, and gave the rope to the same guy that he was beating up. The art of fighting without fighting. They could kick his butt. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's like you wrong. You don't even know who you be playing with sometimes. Taking your style, you thinking you all that. You can be humble real quick. That's why it's in Coaching Refinement. What is it, Jay? Humble? You know, you gotta humble yourself, man. Like I actually on my thing, my Facebook, I do got a Facebook page, and I'm on a few other pages, but one of them, I got a humble author. Because I'm a humble author. You know, this is something first time I ever did it. You know, I feel it as an honor and a blessing to accomplish it. You know, I'm not trying to, I'm big and you small, you know, especially when people come up with degrees and asking me, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Well, it's on the," they like, no. I need you to tell me step by step how you did it. And I'm like, you know, honored. You know what I'm saying? That's an honor. I ain't got no degrees.
They give it to you all right there. They get you to pay that first tuition.
Yeah.
And then, you know, keep the revolving door.
Yeah, it's a blessing to me, man. I'm deeply honored.
We got two more guests coming in.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna you wanna go ahead and put your info out for everybody?
Yeah, Psychology of a Thug by Malik Ali on Amazon.com. It's the paperback book right here. You know, they got paperback and ebook. The paperback is $12.99. The ebook is $5.99. If you buy the paperback, you get the ebook half price. I'm also going to be on Freedom's radio show tomorrow at between 8 and 9. That's On the Real. And July 29th, I'm going to be down at Classics Rare and Books, 4 Lafayette Street from 12 to 2 doing a book signing. So if anybody want to come down and sign a book, and we'll talk about the book. Thank you for letting me come on the show. It's a blessing to meet you. We got to stay in touch. Thank you.
Supreme Alliance Radio Show on FirstFamRadio.com.
Let me get your number and stuff. All right. Get some pictures on first.
Q, right?
Oh, Q motion, yeah.
Yeah, Q motion. Thank you.
Go away.
Right there.
Hi, guys.
She touched my leg.
Stretch your leg.
She touching my leg right now. Why do you think her right hand ain't on the table?
Got enough.
It's hot in here.
Hey man, good to meet you, man.
It was so nice meeting
Yeah,
you.
good. I hope to see more of you.
We'll talk about that night.
Okay, man. I need to do this.
Hey, y'all, we off there right now?
Are you off?
Yeah. You
All right,
know
yeah.
what? We definitely all there. Right?
Okay. Put write your stuff down for me, man. Stay in touch. And what you do, sis?
I'm a curator. I work with underground artists and stuff like that.
Okay. You can still do something. Information
Yeah,
out too. You can
definitely.
do something because,
I put on different types of events, and then I do artist development with music artists.
it's cool. Well, so you probably working with my stepson, Sparks, because Justice is one of his artists.
You say put on my phone too. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, here you go. You always there, you know what I mean?
And then, if y'all want to stand, that's cool too.
Anyway.
There you go.
Wait, keep taking. He's gonna take one of my phone real quick. Sorry.
I ain't good with that.
Jump it back in there. You want to come with
Oh,
one?
yeah. Here you go.
He's taking a picture and he's doing a lot of stuff.
Oh, no. Wait, yeah, my bad.
She got a dope ass.
Yeah, one dope ass.
And I think it's horrible, so that's.
Nah, that shit like with the choir. Like if you want to catch somebody out there,
No, that's because my fingers on silent.
shit. You know what?